Welcome back to my Eurovision React Review channel. So this morning, one of the first things I did when I got out of bed was I checked what happened in MGP semi-final 2 last night. So first thing I did is I watched the performances and then I looked at the results. So first one, Duel 1, which was Löwe, Bad, 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 Bad Baby. And Steffen Jakobsen with Me Tonight. Now, if you've seen my previous video where I reacted on first listen to these 4 songs, Steffen, hands down for me, was my favourite song. Yes, I love Farida, but it was close, but ultimately the sound of With Me Tonight, that kind of country flair, I'm a sucker for. So with this duel, first and foremost, I was really, really happy. Well, obviously the producers know what they're doing, that Steffen and Farida weren't dueling against each other. That was my biggest concern. Don't know how they work out these duels. I don't know whether they look at the betting odds. I have no idea. But nonetheless, going into this duel, backing Steffen all the way. So after watching the performances, it was quite interesting. So Löwe's Bad Baby, I mean, for me, it got elevated by that performance. I quite liked the performance, and moreover, I thought she sang it quite well. It is a song that does lose a bit of steam, and just before that final chorus where the fire goes behind her and then she goes into that final chorus, I think that's when I was like, okay, I need this. I don't need the song to be over, but I've heard it now. And I think that's been my issue with that song from the beginning, that the song just kind of runs out of steam near the end. But I thought she delivered a decent performance, and actually after watching it live, the song went up in my estimations. I love Steffen's performance. I will be honest with you, the live performance, the way that he sings it, it sounds like he sings it in a lower register than the studio version. He sings it quite low, and I don't know if I like it as much live as I do in the studio. Don't get me wrong, this is not me being, I mean, that is slightly critical. I don't want to be critical because I actually really, really like this song, and I am rooting for this song generally. Yes, I've not heard the songs from semi-final 3 and semi-final 4, but this is one of my favourites this year from the ones I've listened to. But yeah, that low register which he sings in now and again, I'm like, oh, okay. It doesn't sound as familiar to me because it sounds slightly different to the studio. And moreover, I kind of, after watching all 4 of these performances, I do think he needs to definitely take note from some of the other artists about just looking like you're having fun on stage. Like, they don't pan into his face that much, but he could at least, in the final chorus, look, I mean, that's harsh. Like, he is looking like he's enjoying himself, but there isn't that much dynamism in his face. And I would like in that last chorus for him to kind of really look like he's enjoying it. So, Duel 1, Steffen wins. For me, I'm happy with that. I think it's a stronger song. It's a better song. And yeah, even with Lily's performance, for me, I do think, yeah, even when I was watching it live, it still kind of runs out of steam by the time we get to that final chorus. And then we've got the Duel 2. So, big deal. Farida, Dangerous, which I can't tell you how much I was looking forward to seeing live. Particularly seeing my reaction video with a lot of people drawing the same parallels as I did between this and Death of Us. And moreover, with some people coming out of the woodwork and kind of saying they prefer Farida's Dangerous. So a lot of people kind of timidly stated that, but then said, well, let's see this live, because obviously we've seen Death of Us live. So Farida Dangerous and Daniel Lukas with Kvelertak. Now, let's deal with Daniel first. Now, if you saw my reaction, I was not exactly favourable regarding this song. I even thought for the first half that it was a demo version. The intro went on for far too long. But then when I kind of got to the end of it, that chorus kind of stuck into my brain. It became a bit of an earworm. So I kind of had a kind of I wouldn't say complete 180, let's say a 90-degree change by the time I got to the end of that song. And what I can safely say is this song went up what, 500% seeing this song live. First and foremost, the intro doesn't feel long because you've got obviously something to look at on the stage. Moreover, they seem to have turned the volume up. So what I was listening to in the live version seems to be louder than the studio version, and it does elevate that intro. And do you know what? Give Daniel credit. He sang that song really well. I didn't hear a bum note whatsoever. And I kind of liked the smooth choreo with him and his dancers. There's one moment, however, where they go off, like, as in they go off the side, and almost out of pan of the camera. It was kind of shoddy camera work at that point. But the way they, the way that they go off, it's like three drunken people supporting each other walking down the street. That bit, I feel, needs a little bit of tidying up. But that song was good. I kind of liked everything about it. I liked the lighting in the background. I liked the colour palette. I liked what him and his backing dancers were wearing. For me, I do feel Sweden has kind of ruined this kind of vibe package for me. And I'm just kind of harking back to Robin Bengtsson 2017 and Benjamin Ingrosso 2018. There is crossovers with this sound and those two, and in the last 10, 15 years of Swedish entries into Eurovision, I think they're like my least favourite. Don't really like that sound. I actually think this song is better than those two, to be honest, but for that, it's kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But I will say I actually really enjoyed that performance, and I did get a little nervous for Farida when I saw it. So let's go to Farida now. Dangerous. I don't think it's unfair to say at the beginning and at the end there were one or two, I felt, not issues but small vocal inconsistency, shall we say. I think at the beginning she felt a little bit nervous, and at the end I think one or two of the notes weren't necessarily hit. And I don't know if I like her suit. I have no issue with suits being multi-gender, not at all. I just feel the blazer kind of, it drowns her a little bit for me. I don't mind the colour palette, because obviously it fits with the colour palette of the staging, but I don't know, I was, rather than necessarily being kind of hypnotized by her voice and the song, which is a strong song, I kept on just looking at the blazer being like, it's really big. Anyway, that's a side note. Seeing this song live, this song got elevated live. Other than Steffen's, the other three, I feel all of these got elevated seeing them live and being performed live on stage. And there is obviously more of a concept with Farida's Dangerous than Elsie's Death of Us, which I still think, whatever we saw of Elsie's song, that can't be it. That can't be it. She cannot perform what a lot of people deem to be a favourite song with that quite bland staging, when we've seen, particularly in Semi 2, a lot of creative ideas in staging to try and elevate songs. The last 10 seconds of Farida's Dangerous, there's somewhere that the song goes that I'm just so convinced in that last 10 seconds. Like, I think this is my favourite. Yes, I love Queen Bee, and yes, I love Steffen, but there is something when it gets to the end of this song, I'm like, this is strong. Like, okay, I will be controversial and say, at this moment, I do prefer Farida's Dangerous over Death of Us. I will be honest. There's more drama going on in this song. There's more kind of levels, peaks and troughs, and I don't know. For me, I prefer this one, but I still don't think what we saw of Death, I think they're going to go back and tweak that one, because even if you kind of look at Farida's performance, like the facial expression, she delivers the drama in her facial performance that for me Elsie didn't. So yeah, so Farida wins. Good. So this is at this moment in time going kind of where I want it to go. So we've got kind of these two songs which were my favourites. Steffen versus Farida. Now, Farida takes it. Now, that doesn't surprise me because, I mean, in all honesty, whilst I love Steffen's song, and I don't actually know, people in Norway might have to confirm this to me, like, is this sort of sound like commercial and pan-Norway successful? I read a comment somewhere else regarding Steffen's song. It was quite interesting. Someone said this would win Denmark's, I think that one's called Melodi Grand Prix, right? Or Grand Prix. Because, and actually that's true, Denmark has sent kind of country vibe songs, but I don't think Norway has. So as a result, I don't know whether there is a kind of popular base for this song compared to Farida's, but I do think Farida's Dangerous would probably have more of a mass appeal if it got to Eurovision compared to Steffen's. So I'm happy Farida's gone forward. Moreover, I did say in my previous video when I was looking at these four that I kind of thought that Steffen would have more of a chance in the kind of second chance things that are going to be happening in a few weeks' time, of the ones that haven't gone through. I think this song, I would worry that Farida would be a shock, would be a song, a shocker song that would get knocked out. But I think Steffen's got more of a chance of pulling through that one. So I'm quite happy the way that that came out. So I'm happy for Farida, and yeah, I'm obviously rooting for Steffen to get through that knockout phase, so we get our kind of 10th qualifier. 10th qualifier? Yeah, I think. Yeah, only one's coming through that, right? So, and then, so yeah, just for me, Steffen, particularly that last final chorus, more pans in on his face, enjoying it, because it's a song where you just want to get up and just clap and just kind of get with it. And that would be helped if they pan into his face more, but I don't know whether that's a deliberate choice. Maybe they've realised that actually facially he doesn't deliver that much dynamism. Okay, and so then we finish with one of our automatic qualifiers, Christian Ingebrigtsen, Wonder of the World. Now, yes, I can't forgive the lyrics, and yes, I will support anyone who turns around and say that the song is dated. With Steffen getting knocked out, with me coming around to actually quite liking Daniel Lukas, it then does get a little bit frustrating when you kind of sit through Christian's song and you think, there are other songs that are better than this and you've gone straight to the final. That is a little bit frustrating. My feeling is, I would assume if Christian had to qualify, he probably just would have turned around and said, you know what, no. Not to be like a diva, but I mean, with his name brings gravitas. And that kind of worries me in the sense of, is this in the final due to kind of nepotism? Like in the sense of, that I can't believe that there is a world where a jury kind of put this song ahead of the others to go straight through them. I don't know the kind of method, because I know different countries have different rules, right? I don't know whether, for example, in Norway, maybe the three main recording companies are allowed kind of a free ticket and he's part of one of them. I don't know. I would like to know why this is an automatic qualifier, because for me, who wasn't a particular fan of Daniel Lucas's song, after watching that live, I'd rather see that in the final. So yeah, slightly frustrating, but he sang it well, and I really like the strings element of that song, I will be honest with you. And it is a nice melody, it does have a nice melody, and it goes on for the 3 minutes quite nicely. It is kind of sickly sweet. I feel it does have an attraction to a more older generation, and maybe that's why it's there. Maybe actually there is music professionals that have picked 5 songs that appeal to different demographics, and maybe this one fits a certain demographic, and that's why it's there. But it is, for someone who's not old, but older, this is my demographic, and as a result of that, it is a little bit frustrating. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Please let me know what you think. I think, hopefully, that generally people are happy with Farida's result. I think that was well earned, and I think the kind of controversial debate is, how are we feeling at the moment? Farida versus Elsie. I don't want to kind of stoke that fire, but I feel that they deliver similar sounds and are giving similar vibes, whereby I feel it is fair to kind of draw comparisons between the two. So yeah, please do comment below and just let me know your thoughts, because I do enjoy reading them and I do enjoy responding to them. So until next time, stay safe.